ハイパースピードメディア。
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On our previous episode, we made a custom engine mount for the truck. So if you'd like to learn more about that, go and check out the links below. On this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the truck and what's going to happen soon. So let's talk about the truck. There's a lot of stuff I want to update you guys about the truck and some sad news also. So I'll just go over the sad news right now. Sad news is that within the next month or so, I probably won't have time to work on the truck. The good news is I will continue and finish the truck. The reason for that, as you can see in the back right there, there's a lifted Miata with big wheels. So I'm going to take this Miata to Miata the Gaps. We got roughly 1 month to get everything situated, to get it ready for the event. There's a lot of stuff I want to cover on that, but also I want to update you on what's happening here. So let's get started about this. As you can see here, the engine is already in. Sorry I didn't film that because the filming process is the same as when I made the custom engine mount. You drop it in, it's fairly simple. But I do want to cover all the issue that I came across while installing the engine in here. So that's going to help you if you want to do this project yourself. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is that the engine is level. So it's only off by 1.6 degrees, so that's fairly good. So that's meaning that the engine is very level. That's the first thing you want when you're making a custom engine mount. So everything fits smoothly like it should. Now there's a few things I want to cover here that I didn't cover at all. First thing is that the back firewall will hit the top of the head if you are keeping your ignition coil in the back. So I've removed that completely and I'm installing a different coil that I will show later. Also, you will have to hammer a certain part of the firewall to get it to fit. There's a few bumps in the front right here that you want to hammer it in and it should fit perfectly. Okay, so I got a spare engine head right here. So we're going to take a look at the back side and what you need to do to modify it to make it work and fit the engine bay a little bit better. All right, let's take a look at the back of the engine right here. As you can see, here's the area that we're going to focus on that will hit the firewall. The first thing you notice is that the sensor is right here. This is for your coolant temperature sensor. This is the coolant return line into the filter area. And this is the return line for the heater core. So this area will hit the firewall. So to prevent that from happening, what I did was I removed this whole piece completely. I'm going to do so right now. So what you want to do is take this out and then you want to rotate it downward like so. But the problem with that is that it's going to hit this piece right here is going to hit that. So what you want to do is grind this off a little bit, just enough to get this in there. But you got to be careful to not grind too much, because if you grind a little too much, you will puncture a hole into here and it will leak. But the good news is this is steel, so you can weld this back if you puncture a hole in it. That's exactly what I did. I grind it off and flip it upside down, just like so it could fit. So now there's enough clearance for this piece right here on the top right here to fit into the engine bay. On the side right here, there's a screw that you could remove with the Allen key. When you remove that, you could insert your factory OEM B2200 sensor right in there. That's exactly what I did, and wire that into the gauge. Coming to the top area right here, as you can see, it's missing, but if you got an earlier Miata, you will have your cam position sensor right here that could potentially hit the firewall. I haven't tested that yet, but I'm pretty sure it will hit the firewall. So in this area right here, you have to kind of hammer that in a little more, or if not, use a 99 and 2000 head or above, because the sensor will be in the front instead of in the back. Also, coming to the side right here, this is where your coil pack sits. So if you want to use your factory core pack, make sure you relocate this to another location so you can use it. But for me, I'm not going to use the core pack. I actually make another core pack that goes with this. All right, coming to the turbo side of the engine, as you can see right here is the factory heater core hose. This is the B2200 hose. So what we're going to do is do a little modification. We're going to cut this hose in half, somewhere about right here, and then insert the hose into the factory Miata heating core line, which is down here. Probably can't see it on camera, but I'm just going to cut it right now. So I'll cut it like about right here before the bend. Don't throw this away. We're going to reuse this for the other side. And the next thing here, there's a ground wire that's part of the engine. There's a bolt right here that can mount to it, but it's a little short, so I'm going to take that off later on and then connect that into this bolt right behind the dipstick. So just a little note right there, you want to ground that to this bolt right here. That's a good location for it. I'm going to take care of that later on. And another thing too, I took these hole off the brake booster because I'm going to insert a new brake booster and brake master, so we're going to take care of that later on. Now let's go and check out on the other side. All right, so now coming to the other side of the engine, the first thing I'm going to do is remove the engine lift point. It's no longer needed because the engine's already in the engine bay. If you want to keep it, you could, but I'm going to remove it so I can have more room to do other stuff. Now that we took care of that, there's a few brackets right here that's not needed. So there's one right here, one right there. I thought I'll be able to use that, but I guess it's not needed. Now I'm going to remove those two. All right, as you can see here, there's a hose already attached to the engine on the heater core bar fitting. So what I did was use this hose as a factory hose on a B2000 and cut it in half and insert the hose on that. So it's facing this side now, so which is good because now we just have to connect it to this. What I'm gonna do is use that hose that we cut earlier on the other side to connect the two pieces together. So here's that hose that I cut earlier. I think what I'm gonna do is put a barb fitting on this side right here. Like so. Then I'm going to connect this side also. I think the easiest way is probably to cut about right here. Another thing I want to do also is use this PVC valve and connect it to the manifold also, but in between that I'm going to install a oil catch can because it's a boosted engine. I don't know where I'm going to mount it yet, so I'll do that off camera later. So it's just going to connect those two hoses. Now coming to the front side of the engine, there's a few things we have to connect. I'll cover this on a later date, but for now I'll just kind of briefly go over it. Right here, as you can see, there's two fuel lines. One, two. One is the send, one is the return, and we have to connect that to the send and return on the fuel rail. So another thing I kind of did off camera already is I installed an alternator. This is a used alternator. I don't know the full condition of it yet, but I'm gonna give it a shot and see if it works. If not, I'll install a new one. Then I have to insert a new belt in there. Just waiting for the belt. And also, the turbo is clocked to this direction where I'm going to make a 90-degree bend right here and right into the intercooler. Also down here is where the lower radiator hose connects to the radiator. Now's a good time to install that if you want. So what I got this aluminum radiator hose. So this is bendable and it's made out of aluminum. So what I'm going to do is kind of like bend it to where I think it will fit. Once you're happy the way it sits, you could clamp it down. So now it's time to insert the hose into the water neck, but before you install the hose, make sure you put the sleeve that fits your water neck. So for mine, it seemed like to be the thicker sleeve. I'm going to insert here first, like so, and then now insert that into the water neck. Then you want to do the same on the other side, but for now I'm going to leave this room empty until I get the intercooler situated. For the upper radiator hose, you could probably do the same thing. If not, they do sell a little bit longer radiator hose for the Miata that should fit into the radiator, but I'm not sure yet until I insert the radiator with the engine on. But I'll take care of this later, and I'm also installing a thermostat. As you can see here, there's an engine breather right here. I'm not a big fan of this. I might route this back into the intercooler piping. The reason for that is because the oil could potentially leak out of the breather and land right onto the manifold, which can cause a fire. So that's why I'm not a big fan of this. I'm just temporarily installing it onto here just to keep dust and air going into here. But eventually I'll remove this later on. All right guys, we'll come to the home stretch now. So I saved the best part for last. As you can see right here, it's a Toyota coil on plug. It has a adapter plate that goes on top of the engine. And then as you can see, the wiring harness is already completed. I actually finished all the wiring harness already, but I'll probably cover that on a later date. But for now, I'm just going to install this and show how it looks. And that's the reason why I mentioned it later, because by using this, it eliminates the factory coils in the back. It frees up a lot of space, and it looks cooler too. So first thing I'm going to do is just remove these 3 bolts. And it sits perfectly flush like that. Also made an engine ground on my wiring harness, so I'll ground this either to the engine somewhere in the back. It does come with longer hardware and a sticker, actually 2 stickers. So all you have to do is tighten up the hardware and it should be pretty much complete. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys like it. There's more video coming soon, so don't worry. For the next video, I'm going to focus on this lifted Miata. There's a lot of cool things I plan to do to it and get it ready for Miata at the Gap. So I hope to see you guys there. If not, I'll see you here in the video. So stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.
ハイパースピードメディア